Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all of my hopes and dreams are wrong, and maybe the movies that I love really do suck. I don't know. I just rewatched Boondock Saints, and maybe you're right. Maybe the movie's terrible. Maybe it's the worst movie out there. Or maybe we're just thinking way too hard about it, alright? Let's calm the shit. So even though I don't want to be honest, because this is one of my favorite movies, I have to be honest. The Boondock Saints is a technically terrible movie. This movie has laughable dialogue, a almost non-existent plot. The acting is terrible. The storytelling is a mess. Everything from the characters, there's no real character build. Everybody's just who they are from beginning to end. No real change. This movie has a lot of issues. Norman Reedus' acting is not. I mean, it's Norman Reedus' acting. He's not the best actor in the world. Whether you like him or not, it's not the best. His accent is ridiculous. It's so laughable. It's not an Irish accent. I don't know what he was trying, but I don't know what that was. Sean Patrick Flanery, he did fine. I think he did probably one of the best performances in the movie, but because they were trying to do this parallel between him and his brother, Murphy and Connor together, they give them equal time on camera. You don't get to see Sean Patrick Flanery's character build as much, because he's kind of brought down by Norman Reedus' character. Then you also have Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe plays a gay cop. He's kind of homophobic. He's also very over-the-top and flamboyant. He's kind of an asshole, a smart ass. He's really funny, and he does a really great job, but at the same time, it's also over-the-top acting. It's so laughable. It's so just corny and silly. There is a character in there by the name of David Della Rocco, also known as Rocco, also known as the Funny Man. He's played by the actor David Della Rocco. Now, it's a funny thing. This character was created, directed, written, everything, specifically for this actor. Everything to the name, to the mannerisms. Everything was for this character. So, essentially, he did a kind of like a played himself kind of thing, but like a parody of himself. It was like an over-the-top version of himself. And I think that's really cute and funny. But, this movie as a whole is very, very just ridiculous. It's so silly. And again, you don't really get a plot. I mean, throughout the movie, you can't really tell who the main villain is. You think it's the cop, maybe. Maybe it's the cop that's trying to take them down. Nope, because as soon as the cop finds out who these people are, he's all on board and he's with them and he's helping them. Okay, well, maybe it's the Russians that they are fighting off in the beginning. Nope. You kill them off in the first act. Okay, well, who's the main villain here? Once you get the main villain, you have maybe one little fight with him, and that's it. And it's not even really like a fight sequence. It's more of they go to kill him, it jump cuts to them being captured, and then it jump cuts later on to them finally taking him down months later. I believe it was like 3 months later. They just go and assassinate him. I'm keeping a little bit out, but there's also another villain that they might, you might think, okay, this is going to be the main villain, and his name is Il Duce, or the Duke. And, again, same thing. You get one fight with him. There's a really cool firefight. He pulls out 6 guns, and he's using all 6 guns on these people, so much so that the cops think it's 6 people, as opposed to one person with 6 guns. So that's pretty funny, and they describe him as a very just super like badass, like John Wick kind of character. But again, once you see him again after that first firefight, turns out he's their dad and he's with them and he's helping them. So you never really get a main villain throughout this movie, and there's no character build. So really it's just these people going around killing people and then the movie ends. So technically, yes, this movie is terrible. Everything from cinematography to acting to writing to storytelling to characters, everything was just bad. Now, why is this one of my favorite movies? It is fun. It is a fun. It's a ride. You go on there. No, there's no real character build. No, there's no real plot, but there is action and there is some comedy. There are times you're going to sit there and kind of laugh. Once you kind of get used to these characters, you find how silly it all is, and you kind of take it that way as just a silly action movie, as opposed to a super serious, we're the hands of God kind of movie. I mean, throughout the movie, they're smoking and drinking, and you kind of get little ideas of them doing, some of them doing drugs. So you never really feel like they're preaching a righteous message to you. You just kind of, you're along for the ride. This movie, yes, is very fun. You're going to enjoy it for what it is, as long as you don't go into this movie expecting great dialogue, as long as you don't go in there expecting character building. You're not going to see a person go from one thing and then through realization and having different events happen to them, they're going to become something else. Pretty much everybody that comes in this movie leaves the movie the exact same they came in, except for the people that died. They left the movie in a body bag, of course. This movie is one of my favorites, and the reason for this is because of the iconic moments. One of the greatest insults in the movie, or one of the greatest insults in movie history, is in this movie. One of the most iconic scenes of the tattoos going down the trigger fingers as they're holding the gun to somebody's head. Of course, the iconic prayer that you hear before they do their assassinations. There's so many iconic moments, and the reason they're iconic is because they're so lovable and so memorable of moments and scenes within this movie. Yes, Norman Reedus' accent is atrocious, but you still love him as the couple minute younger brother. I think there's a deleted scene where they talk about how one of them's older but by a few minutes, and again, it's kind of silly because they're supposed to be twins, and that's whole cut out of the movie. So there is that question of who's the older brother here. How are they brothers? They don't really look alike. On top of the fact that you find out that this guy Il Duce, or the Duke, is their father, and that's not even really said in the movie. You just kind of figure that out if you really pay attention, which is fine. I really enjoy that when movies do that. They don't spell things out for you. Sometimes it is fine to just have something be hinted at something, so you kind of just figure it out. But there are questions that never get answered, as in, why did he leave the family? Did he leave because he's an assassin? Why did he leave the family? And what happened to the mother? Did she die? What's going on there? How do these kids not know who their father is? Did their father leave them before they were born, or before they could remember him? So there's a lot of questions that the movie still leaves you with. Again, this movie is not technically good, so I'm saying all this, and it doesn't sound like, why would you like this movie, or why would you expect it not to get a bad review? And that's not the point of this video. Again, sure, if you're going in this movie looking for great cinematography, great dialogue, the script writing is amazing, the cast and crew, everything is perfect, you're not going to get that here, so of course you're going to get a bad review. However, if you go into this movie just expecting a fun ride, a fun just Irish action movie, Irish assassinations, this is going to be a fun movie for everybody. So, my final verdict for this is, and I don't really do verdicts, I don't really do ratings, but if I had to, if I'm going to put it on a scale of 0 to 100, I'd have to give it around maybe a 65. 65 to 70, somewhere around there. I'm not going to go ahead and give it an 80, 90, anything like that. I say 60, in the 60 area is very, very respectable. It's very fair. Because, of course, I cannot put aside the flaws that this movie has. Even if it doesn't have, the best dialogue, it still needs a good plot. Even if it doesn't have the best, accents, or the way these people interact with each other is kind of ridiculous and corny and just over the top silly. That's forgivable as long as they have a good plot, as long as they tell a good story, as long as there's good character building. And those things don't really exist here. So yes, I have to bring it down a lot. And if the movie itself was not fun, if the movie itself was not memorable, if you didn't go into this movie and then leave remembering these iconic moments, then yes, the movie itself should get about a 20 or a 30%. But this movie has all of those moments. So even if you hated the dialogue, even if you hated the acting, this movie would still have very memorable moments, very iconic moments that you're going to leave the theater, you're going to leave your couch, turn off the TV and say, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Because it has all of that, it has to get a passing grade, in my opinion. I can't say that it's a good movie, but it is a fun movie, and it is a very memorable movie, and it is a cult classic for a reason. So, if you have not seen the Boondock Saints, you need to go check it out. Go buy it on DVD. Go buy it on Blu-ray. I don't know. It's filmed in a weird way, so if you have a widescreen TV, you are going to get the sidebars as well as the top and bottom bars for widescreen. So it is going to be kind of squared off. If that is an issue for you, get a CRT TV. Watch it on there. This movie itself, I believe, is very excellent. You're going to enjoy it for what it is. Outside of that, yeah, it's a terrible movie. Yes, it kind of deserved some bad criticism, but the reason it made the cut for unpopular opinion is because it still is a memorable movie. It is still a fun movie. It is still a movie you're going to enjoy outside of all those critiques. So, that's my unpopular opinion, and I will see you guys later.